Let's go. That's all y'all get, man. That's all y'all get. That's all y'all get. Welcome to another episode of the Mad Lucrative Podcast, special edition, Lucrative Lounge. Yo, I am the host, the one, the only Magneto 7 in the building. And look, okay, this is the first time. I'm going to say in a long time, but you're the first one, so I can't even say in a long time. I'd be lying. So this is the first time I got a special guest, and that is none other Talent, the comedian.
Yes, sir. What up, Doc?
How you feeling, man?
Hey, man, I'm feeling 50 grand, brother. I'm on the good side of the dirt. You know, you ever talk to an old dude? Hey, how you doing, man? I woke up on the right side of the dirt.
Yep.
Like, as opposed to what? You ain't gonna wake up on the other side. You just stay asleep.
Yo, but it's funny. So y'all know, if y'all didn't know, a lot of the times the preliminaries in the pod, when we before we start, I get the guests privy to conversation. You know, because some people just don't know how to respond to certain things. So I got to warm up. You know what I mean? I got to warm them up and, do this. So Tracee, shouts out to Tracee Renee again. She was like, yo, Talent said he agreed. He going to do it. I was like, for real?
Yes, sir. Hey, man, let me tell you something. I'm a socialite, right? So okay. I socially drink. I love conversing. I guess that's, what got me in the business of comedy in the first place. I love to converse, and bounce things off of them. So ironically, I love interviews.
Okay.
Good ones anyway. You know what I mean? Like it's a conversation.
I feel like I do decent interviews. You know what I mean? I ain't out here in Bill Maher lane or who we had.
Hilarious.
I ain't had none of them, but I'm starting. So
you're coming.
So okay. First off, I want to introduce everybody to you as far as the Mad Lucrative audience. So tell them who Talent the comedian is. Where you from?
Well, Talent the comedian is a lot of things to a lot of different people. I got my radio audiences out there that know me from doing radio for 20 plus years in Philly and New York, Rochester, Buffalo, Kiss FM in New York City, the Wake Up Club for years. I got my TV fan base that know Talent the comedian straight up and down.
Right.
From BET, Def Jam, HBO, Showtime, Comedy Central, Laugh-A-Palooza, Showtime at the Apollo. And then I got my people that just know me as an actor, like Butter from Sunset Park, like Vic from A Brother's Kiss the movie. And stuff like that. So Talent is a radio jock, first and foremost, the funniest dude in the world. Okay. I put me up against anybody. You know what I mean? Like, ain't too many dudes on that level of funny out there that's going to be knocking down the doors like that. So, most people know me as that. That's my forte. That's everything else I like to say is sprinkles and icing on the cake. The cake being that triple decker, that comedy thing, that bang bang, the guy that nobody walking up on. Will Smith ain't walking up.
We gonna go there. We gonna go there.
He ain't walking up on him. You know what I mean? Because I'm gonna hold my ground.
Okay. So I want to get introspective, but not too fast, right? So what started you on a journey to comedy? What got you in that space?
I always knew as a kid. I don't know. It just was something in me, and I knew that I was going to do that. Once I seen it, heard it, I said, "Oh, that's right up my alley. That's me." The only problem is, as a kid, it didn't look like a profession to me. It looked like more of a hobby. So I was a realist and knew that I had to do something income-wise to make it there. And then when I resign or retire, I'm gonna pick up my hobby that I know I want to do, which is stand-up comedy.
Okay. But
then I quickly learned the 90s came, and it was a big black comedy boom, so to speak, that never went away. You know, like it seemed like it was like hip hop. It seemed like this new thing's on the scene, and let's see how long this fad is. Fast forward, we are comedy period now. Like we went from black comedy, no, we went from hip hop comedy to black comedy to we are comedy, bro. We are the number one box office drawers across the world.
Right. So you've been here for a minute. I want to go
Yes,
here. I want to go here. So can you remember did you ever perform at the Comedy Store?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
The transition from that and the hustle that you had to do to get on then to now, can you parallel them?
Well, the hustle has definitely changed. Now the hustle is you go from, I think this is like anything trying to move up a ladder. Like you go from having to take whatever scraps they give you to picking and choosing what you'll do after that. You know, once you get some seniority in the game, like they say, skin in the game, and you got a little stature to yourself. Now you can sit home and go, yeah, I'm not gonna do that one. Okay. Oh, I'll come and do that one. Oh, nah, I don't like that one. That, you know, and sometimes it's more than just a financial barrier, if you will. Sometimes it's just routing don't match up with your schedule. Okay. Sometimes you guys, you know, just can't come to agreement with what goes along with that. You know what I mean? Like if a guy calls me right now at this stage of the game and say, hey, come down to West Virginia and it's this amount of money. And okay, I'll be like, oh, okay, all right. I got a room and you get the plane thing. Nah, we ain't getting no travel and we ain't getting no room. So now I got to reevaluate because now that number is not what that number is supposed to be because I got to deduct these things out of that number. So I might not be making $500. When I'm done, I might be making $150, $200. Right. So it's that kind of thing. Yeah. So when you get seniority and skin in the game, it's like, I guess it's like actors. Actors do the same thing. You know, they got film projects and then they turn down certain things because they don't think it's good for them and they like it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, I'm looking at, because I know, okay, from a producer standpoint, right?
Right.
I'm young, but I came out with 4-track recorders. And,
right.
And then going from 4-track recorders to the Vid 80, which is like the digital recorder, but you couldn't see it like an MPC. And then we went from there to computers and then that to, you know, mailing beats out in mailers, like paying postage stamps.
I remember those days, brother. I remember those days. You had to invest in yourself.
Exactly. So it's a little bit difficult, and I'll speak for myself. It was a little bit difficult for me to embody the new way of doing things, how the youngest do it. Right. Because I'm like, like, where y'all put money at? And then, oh yeah, I got 100,000 followers. Like, okay, what that mean?
No, I know. That's like, I mean, we all been there, right? Like, so when things flip and change, again, like it's picking and choosing our battles, of course, but we got to adjust with the new technology. So in the comedy world, for us, a lot of it is the visual, the video stuff. Like you see people do skits and all that type of stuff. Now, everything ain't for everybody.
Okay.
Let's say that. Everything ain't for everybody. And you got a lot of my comrades who frown upon the Instagram comedians and the Facebook or the TikTokers. I give two shits. Like, you know, skill is skill, talent is talent. You're going to be good at what you're going to be good at. And it's nobody's business to get in the way of how the cards are dealt to you.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Don't be no hater, man. Like if this guy's on TikTok, on Instagram, he doing boom, boom, then he want to go to the comedy club and he sell out the room and you mad because he get in the comedy club and you not. I don't get caught up in all that. Like I'm so where I'm at, bro, and so confident in my level of where I'm at and what I do. Can't nobody knock my zone. Like my zone can't get infiltrated. Like what you do with your zone, yo, to each his own. I don't have no problem, man. Like it should be like that. It reminds me of like watching the NBA playoffs. And I love the rivalry that's building between Ja Morant and Steph Curry.
Right.
It's dope. But they're having fun with it. Like they're competing and having fun at the same time. This is what our people need to know. We can do both. You can walk and you can dunk.
You're right.
You know what I mean? And to the young cats, understand, stop overusing the word like hater. Like know what hate is. because somebody don't like your stuff, don't make
That
them a
don't mean
hater.
it's a hate.
It just makes them a person that's not your fan that don't like your stuff. It's okay.
Right. That's okay. That's good. That's good. I'm thinking about this too. All of these are questions I be wanting to ask comedians, but I have very few that I know. So I gotta ask you.
Right.
I'm gonna ask
Well, you
you.
know me now.
So with the whole change of cancel culture and how we gotta watch what we say, right? Cause even podding, before I got into podcasting, I would be in studios and we going hard. Like you know how we talk. But now being in this type of open forum where people listening and you got some kind of influence, it's like I gotta fall back a little bit. Like,
Right.
has that changed too much for you, or has your
No.
comedy ever been okay?
It's not going to change real comedians.
Mm.
And I say that, with emphasis. Like us real comedians, that directly goes against everything that it's about. To being able to curb my joint to a point like that, because the world is now, we're not saying faggot no more. We're not saying retarded no more. We're not, well, that's you. There's a whole big world out here. Like, that's you. And that's okay for you if that's what you want to do and change in your life. But me as a real comedian, I'm up there to push the envelope. Right. I'm up there to have some hidden jewels in my funny. I'm up there to do a bunch of things. You got to realize, bro, our society, to me, has went to the toilet, because everybody who we used to turn to for answers and clarity, we can't no more.
Yeah.
We're scared to go to the preacher because look at the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
We don't. We've been let down and lied to so much from politicians. We don't go there no more.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? If you're a person who your wisdom seekers, like your grandparents and moms, and all of them, if they pass away, you can't go there no more. So The comedian's the last line of defense, and that's defending everybody and putting it out there and talking about it and shining a light on some of these topics and subjects. You know what I mean? So you just can't change. Now, here's the thing. In the same token, a real comedian, he already curbs himself to an extent when he goes up there. Like, if I'm playing a church, I know I'm not going to say certain things.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I read the room. I know my crowd.
Right.
So I already tapered my thing, so to speak, when I came in and read the crowd, whatever the crowd may be.
Yeah.
And that's just us every time we hit a stage. So we're already curbing and tailoring and editing, to as we see fit because every show's different.
Right.
Something I say on Tuesday, I might not say on Thursday. I might not be able to say it on Thursday. And what I say on Thursday, I might not be able to say the following Sunday. Every show is just catered and tailored to its own thing. It's like a fine suit. You can't just walk out of a real suit store and just throw that on and go to work. You got to get it altered.
Yeah, yeah.
They got to taper it to you, bro.
Yeah. So, in saying that, like, of course, we pretty much coming out of the whole pandemic and COVID and all that stuff.
Right.
And like even my wife originally, before the pandemic, her and I both knew each other for being clowns and having like great conversations. But outside of that, she was just a singer. She did some stuff with Angie Stone. She done tours. Like, she was a soul singer.
Right.
But I was like, pandemic came. We got to figure out how to showcase that differently. She started doing what they call her, like a soul singing comedian. They call her that. So we were just like, what? So then we started getting emails like, yo, can I book you at the event? I think you're hilarious. So her and I looking like, okay, I guess like we gonna do it. It's a gig. But the first one, and if she listens to the interview, she probably kill me. But the first joint, like we had the whole show scheduled, right? It was a church. It ended up being the church that booked her. Decent little tab though. They booked her, and she had her comedy parts that she was gonna do from. Watch this, and this is why I want to get your input. Had her comedy sketches kind of scheduled that she did online. It went 100,000 on TikTok, 200,000 on Instagram, like killing, right? She did the first joint live in between her singing Brick. So she, but I think I enjoyed seeing her work it out. Like I hear a lot of comedians say, you just got to get on stage and work out, and just work it out. So I think the pandemic did birth some funny people, but them learning how to transition from this ain't funny in person. Like this got some clicks, but live, like, yeah, it's
Well,
different.
I mean, yeah, that's dope, man. And I think the pandemic, I tell people this all the time, you got just as much as the good as bad that came out of it. We all know the bad, we lived that. But a lot of us, it lit a flame under our ass that we may have needed,
Right.
From creativity to working, to getting out and feeling like the rug was pulled from under your feet. I know one thing, if you didn't come out of this thing more innovative or inspired or better, then you kind of wasted those 2 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I got stuff, I'm very methodic with all the things I do. And I
Okay.
space it out, and I got it all lined up what I'm gonna do. And the pandemic for me, when it stopped us like cold turkey for 3 months, like that stay at home thing,
Yeah.
that 3 months felt like eternity. So that was the time I said, well, damn, I can't really get out and touch the masses, but they're right here. They're right here on my Instagram. They're right here on my Facebook. So I started to take shows that I had in my brain that I already had formatted for later down the line and just pull them up to the forefront. So now I got all the time in the world, so to speak. Let's put those things on the air right now. So I was on every day, but not just on how niggas be on just rampant.
Yeah.
Dudes be online just rampant. You like, oh, he on again? He ain't talking about shit. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Thursday, baby. Like, I'm not doing that. I'm coming three mornings. I got the news. I'm reporting the news.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I'm motivating on Motivation Monday. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm telling funny comedy stories on Sundays and Friday. Like, I got it. And then I'm playing my music at night, late at night.
Yeah.
So I'm filling those slots with programming because people are stuck at home and they need programming. And you'd be surprised. I even had to learn this over the last 3 years. You'd be surprised how many people, it's kind of even with those of us who like to watch traditional television and Netflix and all that stuff. It's the same amount of people that like to watch entertainment on their phone.
It's weird.
It's weird. But they find that entertainment.
They do.
You got people that will sit all day and just watch lives.
Yeah.
I got friends that just watch mad YouTube stuff. I can't do it.
I can't either.
But I know people that do it.
That's funny you say that. We started a platform because that was a lot of our income was gigging because I play keys and all that stuff too. So when the pandemic first hit, I think it was probably about 3 months for us too. About 3 months. We were like, all right, all our friends ain't gigging. We had no venues to go perform at. How about we start a platform called Sound and Wave? Right, I ain't plugging. It's not a plug either. But we started the platform, had the band come through to the basement, set some cameras up, set the lights up, and just shot it. Dude, like you said, we put it out on Sundays, Sunday evenings, and said, look, get you some wine and go and come sit down and listen to some good soul music and some interviews. And bruh, the first week it was like 500 people that came. And I was just like, so y'all cool with this? Like, it puzzled me. Like you said, like I'm gonna look at a movie on Netflix, Hulu, or whatever. But it's a group of people, and still to this day, they still come Sunday night. They gonna come listen, and that was some good entertainment. Can't wait till next week. So, yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah, I mean it's. And I'm not mad. You know what I mean? I'm not mad at it. Again, these are things that we must now, for lack of a better thing, like kind of get used to. You know what I mean? We got to get used to the new way of doing things if you're going to continue doing it. Now, like anything else, you could always quit. You know what I'm saying? You could always say, man, I ain't doing this new stuff. Because that was me. I remember when but everybody got computer happy. And I have business partners and workers, man. Oh, y'all, T, you gotta do this, you gotta do y'all do that. Y'all, I pay y'all for y'all to do that. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then eventually, you wisen up, like, you know what, slowly but surely you get grabbed in. I like to look at my news. So I don't have the access to get a physical newspaper that much no more. So now, boom, I'm pulling up CNN on my computer. Then I'm clicking links and I'm learning this. Then I got to download this program. Well, next thing you know, bro, you kind of know your way around the joint. It's like, now it's not as tedious. Now it's not like mind wrecking. And now I don't go nowhere without my
computer. Yeah. That's how it works. So going over to another part of the conversation, when it comes to relationships in the business, how are you able to, I guess, navigate from circle to circle and know who to keep close and who to just have just enough contact with, because this, it might be a good play later on or whatever. How do you do that? Because I'm trying to get. Go ahead.
You said how you navigate what?
Just navigate through the relationships, like knowing who to keep close, really. Or knowing who.
Oh, that's easy with me. I don't know if it's that easy for everybody, but for me, I find something like that easy because I'm an energy dude, and I try to implore this to anybody. You want to know good circles, good people, who you keep around, who wasting time. You have to allow yourself to pay attention to the universe energies. Like, everybody got them. We all walk around with them. And if you open yourself up to it and really like kind of paying attention, you know what I mean? Not just talk. Sometimes we just talk and we ain't letting no energy or no vibe in. We just talking.
Right.
And if person talking the right thing, we just go with it.
Yeah.
But you have to allow and open yourself up to proper energies. And what I found is at 10, 15 minutes tops is all I need to gauge a person's energy. You know what I mean? And then let's say it's some people that I'm not necessarily around to gauge their energy. Once I work with you once, maybe not even twice, but if I work with you once, I get a gauge right there. I know how you do business, what kind of person you are. Because here's the thing about business, man. We pay attention to business. How a person does and handle their business tells a lot about them as a person.
It does. You
understand what I'm saying? So people that are able to do, for lack of a better term, wrong or bad things in our business and just walk around like it's nothing, like that tells me a lot about that person. Like, okay, you got this guy you're supposed to pick up at the airport. He's just stranded. You left him. The show fell through.
Yep.
You don't want to pay him. You don't have the money, whatever. But you didn't call this guy. You're not picking up his calls. And you made this man fly in and sit at this this airport. No hotel, no nothing. His flight out ain't until 2 days later or whatever. If you can walk around knowing that you're that guy and not care, I'm just not gonna pick this call up, then you're a certain type of person in general.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I look at people, if I meet them on the business side of things, I look at their business ethic first. If I meet them on the personal side and there's no business involved, just on some hanging and chilling stuff, then I look at how you do that.
Right.
And I judge you accordingly. And here's my thing. I'm not mad at nobody, right? When it comes to that, I just don't.
Yeah.
I'm not even mad that you that person or that you got that evil bone or that deceptive bone or that opportunist bone, whatever. I'm not even mad at that. Like, I just keep you away from me.
Yeah.
Because I'm creating this other bubble and this circle of this good thing. I look at myself like, superhero. Yeah. Everything that's coming up like that. Either you're a villain or you're a hero. And I'm a hero.
Yeah.
I don't do villain stuff. So if I get around you and I get that villain vibe, oh yeah, grand opening, grand closing, I'm out.
Yeah. It took me a while to get there.
Because it's not, I'm not gonna say it's not natural. We're not naturally taught it.
No.
We're not nowhere along. You talk to anybody that has some win in their lifetime, they're 30, 40, 50 years of living. When did somebody tell you about energy?
Look.
When I heard of energy?
3 years
science
ago.
class. Science class, and it wasn't human kinetic.
It was not.
It was protons and neutrons and and atoms and mitosis and you know what I mean?
Yeah. So I know you've done a lot of bigger shows, right? Like you said, Laughapalooza,
Yes, sir.
the comedy, so all of these type of big shows, right? When you get in those elements with other comedians, um, how how are you in those elements? Cause like for me, when it comes to other producers, and I'm hella confident. I'm confident in
Right, right,
everything I
right.
do.
Oh,
But
no question.
but in those elements, I just
Yeah,
be like this, and I'm just looking around. I'm not going. I'm cordial, but
right,
I'm not one of them like this.
right, right, right.
I'm
Well, see,
not
my reputation precedes me, so it's a little different.
okay.
For me, so when I walk in a room these days, like I would say, I'll just say 30 years, knock on wood, in this business of comedy.
Okay.
And for the last, I would say half of that, like the last 15, I invoke in people a fine line of fear and respect as a comic.
Mm,
And I embrace that because you earn that. You know what I
right.
mean? It didn't fall out the sky. It wasn't on sale at Walmart. Like you literally got here. You got yourself to this place, right?
Right.
So when I'm around them, it's pretty much the same thing comes into play with energy.
Mm,
I've been in rooms with comedians. I had the time of my life. Last night, for example, this is my birthday month. So last night I'm in
okay.
the Bronx at this big club called Salsa con Fuego. And John Hinton from Living Single comes out for me. Drew
Dope.
Fraser, New York King of Comedy, Smokey, New York King of Comedy comes
Dope.
out. DJ and rapper Lord Finesse, Grand Puba from Brand Nubian, Peter
Ooh.
Dunn. People came out to show love, right?
Okay.
So I had a great time. The energy was on 100. Good energy all night. Boom. You know what I mean?
Okay.
To the very end, when I'm about to leave, baby mama come with the drama. Fuck that bitch, right? So other than that, the energy was on 100. And even that's funny that I said that. I'm joking, but I'm serious, right? But what just came to my mind when I said that was sometimes she come around with a certain energy. And last night was one of those times where if I'm working and I'm out doing my comedy thing and she happens to pop up or come or whatever, I'm on eggshells because not that I'm gonna do anything, but I don't know what you gonna do. The energy all over the place. So I already know what that energy is. 22 plus years. I already know what that energy is. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm saying all that to say I use the same format I just told you about energy when I'm in those rooms mixing up with them other kings and queens in this comedy.
Okay. Okay. Good. So I think I got all of my main preliminaries. Oh yeah, family. Right?
Yes.
So being in this business, I know it's a lot of long hours.
First of all, fuck family. Go ahead. No, I'm just playing. I just wanted to.
Yo,
I just had to say that. That's crazy. Yeah,
the funny thing is, I was in that stage. I ain't gonna lie. You laugh, you joking, but at one point I was like, "Yo, all right,
I can never be that because here's the thing with me and family. Again, I just told you I hit my 30th anniversary, and you start to play back, a lot of the years and what you did and where they went and what accomplishments and achievements, climb. And I had to really put in perspective in the last 4 or 5 years, like how I think I overlooked it, or I don't want to say took it for granted. I just didn't notice it. The support, because sometimes support is so quiet. You know what I mean? Yes. It can go unrecognized or underappreciated. Let me say that. So when I look back at it, I say, damn, I took a hell of a chance on this thing called comedy. I took a hell of a leap financially and work-wise. And my family was, as far as my kids go, was just starting to start. Like my oldest son he'll be 30 in July. Okay. This dude was in the belly. He was in the belly when I left a good job with medical benefits and everything he needed to come into this world as an infant, as a baby, and chanced it on this thing.
Right.
Now, God is great. It panned out. It worked out. shoot, I got 4 out of 6 kids through college. Got one coming, one's finishing now, one's coming a year behind her. Like, so all of these things got put in a row and it all worked out. But when I look back at it, I could have easily had that family, like, that was boisterous and loud. Don't do it, you stupid. How dare you? And they wouldn't have been wrong because it was a practical thought.
Right.
But I didn't get that. I got a supportive, nobody, if they said anything, bro, they said it under their breath, whispered in the bar. Like, no one ever brought it to me on some, we doubt where you going with this, or this ain't a good thing. Like, everybody just did their part. It was almost like it was a team effort, and we came out on top.
Dope. Very dope. I think my family was kind of like the same way. Like, my dad's side, I'm not gonna talk about that side, but my mom, my folks' side, my mom and them side, it was like my grandfather said, "All right, I do want you to go to college, but I see you doing this music, and just make sure you good, because if you move back home, then you gotta get a job." So I was like, "All right, so I'm good." But fast forward, I remember they said I was up for a Grammy. I was up for it, hadn't won it yet, but they said, "Yeah, you up for a Grammy." They told my grandma. She said, "What's that?"
You gotta love it. You gotta love it.
Yo, I was just like, but keep in mind, my grandmother was the one that got me my first bass guitar, my first keyboard, drums, recorder. She spoiled me as a kid. Like, if I was hood Monday through Friday in the trap, I'd be at my grandparents' house on the weekend, and she had everything for me. So going all the way through that and getting to the Grammy side and then winning, she's like, "Okay, that's nice. You still believe in Jesus, right?" So it's like, yeah. But the that stuff never mattered, and I appreciate that. I appreciate that about my family.
Yeah, that's our backbone, man. I mean, and here's the thing with the flip side of it, the kid side, being a father. I got 3 boys and 3 girls.
Okay.
And growing up, you're gonna miss a lot of things but it's a sacrifice. Mm-hmm. And I always said to myself, I always made a conscious decision of, if I had a chance to make a decision of making my kids' life better than making a basketball game or a recital, I'm gonna go with making their life better.
Yeah. Yeah.
We could always record that. I could watch that later. I'm going to be the same amount of proud of you, whether I was there or not, because it's an accomplishment in your life. But I'm out here laying the foreground of, when you get through this kid stuff and adolescent stuff, and as a grown person, that you can have something.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That reminds me of Steve Harvey said that something like that one time before, and he was saying that his kids were beat up on him for not being there through their childhood. He's like, but he said something like, "But your ass driving the Benz or something." But it was just like, in other words, I set y'all up, like you said. I set you up.
Yeah, but that's what we're missing as a people. Generational wealth is not in our vocabulary.
Nope.
Like, we've been in a situation kind of stifled for generations, where we're struggling to get by, like this generation.
Right.
And then the next one, nothing was putting foundation or stone for them, so they're struggling to get by.
Right.
And then in the next one, they're struggling to get, like, there's no, and I'm not saying that we gotta leave $5-10 million for the family or the kids or whatever. What I'm saying is, we're building a foundation that if they choose to, when they get to, because we all get to that crossroads of, we don't know what we want to do going forward.
Right.
And if they get to that point, how about you got an option or two for them to start a road to start that? Like my son, I said to myself, I did a lot of entertainment. I did music. I did graffiti. I did breakdancing. I did DJing. I did all the sports. I did all that stuff. I did comedy. I did acting, blah, 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 radio. But no matter how much stuff I did, I never wanted to push any of that on my kids. I wanted my kids to find what it is that their passion was. It just so happened my son circled back and is banging out this stand-up comedy thing for 4 years. Like, this dude is way better than I was 4 years in.
Wow.
And that's just that's him. I've never sat down and said, do this or follow my trick. No, find your passion. And whatever your passion is, your father's here. He's going to support you 110.
So, okay, That's good. Maybe you can help me out then. Some of my interviews be therapy sessions, so I'm gonna use you as therapy today. So I got a 6-year-old and 3-year-old, right? Like I said, me and my wife came from the music business side of things.
Right.
And we notice, of course, it's natural because they hear it and see it all the time. Like I either have somebody over here interviewing for the podcast, we recording all the time, the band coming over, like they always see something artsy, right?
Right.
But now the 6-year-old kind of wants to sing a little. She's showing just a little bit of interest. But my wife, like, oh yeah, well nah, you need to hit this run. You need to sing that again. Like how can you separate wanting to, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? Like drive your child to go do what you do versus naturally let it happen. Like how can you do that?
Well, it's easy. I mean, we call that organic, man. Like anything that's gonna be, que sera, sera. Like what will be, will be.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to organically let it happen. Like, and I get where your wife's coming from, because we want to do that. Like in my example, like my son, I was somewhere on the road and I woke up in a hotel bed. And first thing you do is you grab your phone and make sure nothing important happened or what, your kids and stuff. Right. So my son's in my phone and there's a text and there's a link. Now he produces and he does his rap thing and his music too. So I'm thinking he's sending me maybe a new video he did or a song. Right. And when I click on it, it opens to a comedy club and him being introduced on stage. And he did about 6 minutes.
Okay.
And I'm just waking up. I mean, no coffee, none. I'm in the bed. And I'm laughing. I'm really laughing out loud at this shit. I'm like, yo, this dude's funny, right?
Right.
So we have a conversation after that. And I said, I don't want you to take this the wrong way, but I eat, sleep, and drink what I do. I take this super serious. I know you're my son. I love you there. I said, but I'm going to treat you like I treat anybody else that want to get into this. I'm not going to help you for a whole year. Mm. If you're still doing this in a year, sky's the limit. I give you anything you need, any help you want. But for the first year, you can't call me for nothing. I can't help you at all. Good luck. You know what I mean? Okay. And because comedy's that type of thing, it will make or break you sooner than later. Right. So you'll know not too long if this is something you can mess with or not.
Okay. And how old was he when he was in that stage? You remember?
26. This will be the 4th year. So yeah. 26, 25, 26.
Did he do anything before that gave an inkling that he might dibble and dabble in comedy? Or is everybody in the family kind of funny in general?
Well, I got one of those families that, like, as funny as I am, and trust me, there's a couple of people that comedy is a combination of being funny, having that kind of mental capacity, but also that time and can you tell it? Mm. Like we all can experience a funny moment or something happen, but can you convey that in the front of people where they get it, where you make them feel like they was there? That's the trick.
I like that. Look, you got mad jewels. Comedians, I'm asking all these questions for y'all. So if they ever have any inkling, they gotta watch this episode and be like, okay, Talent said do this. So on the legacy side of things, where are you wanting to, I guess, push the next phase of the career? If it's not too private.
Oh, no. I mean, I'm just now, I'm about to do on the virtual film and taping and filming stuff what I did with my comedy. I spent most of my time with ownership. I'm big on ownership. So I wanted to, all my stand-up and the way I did things and the things I set up and the businesses, I wanted to own them, because everything was going through somebody else. Like you're out there busting your ass, but you're fattening everybody else's pocket. Mm-hmm. Like you're busting ass, but that accountant's making the money. That manager's making the money. That agent's getting the money. That marketing firm is getting the money. It's the money's going in 6 different places.
Right.
And so you're getting a 6 of it when you're doing the body of the work. Right. So right away, I started learning everything. I watched my agent for about 5, 6, 7 years and said, okay, I'm going to open my own agency. I watched my managers for a while and said, okay, got my own management. I watched my marketers and took that and owned the marketing company, my own writing and stuff like that. So I owned all of that stuff. So now the next phase is the same thing with film and television. I done made money for Def Jam. I done made money for BET. I done made money for Comedy Central and Laugh-A-Palooza and Apollo and all. Now it's time to put all that stuff in the can and redo it under your guidance of your own ownership. So I got the first project is a documentary about comedy, the stuff we're talking about, called This Is Comedy. This is not black comedy. This is comedy. So it's going to be like, because they called it black comedy, they called it hip hop comedy, they called it urban. No, it's comedy.
Right.
When it's the top and it's the in first place, it's just that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Michael Jordan's not a pretty good black basketball player.
Yo, that's a bar. That's gonna go over people's head though.
Am I? You understand where I'm going with this?
I know exactly where you're going.
We got to get to a point at some point in the middle of the movie. At some point, dude, if I take over, then I'm it.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, I'm no longer, because see, that part of the problem and why we think of ourselves the way we are, this is conditioning over hundreds of years.
Yeah.
We've been conditioned to stay in boxes. If I could keep these people in the box, they're going to always do what I say. They're always going to work for me and do what I say.
Exactly.
And why do you think everything has a label? Even now, pharmaceuticals, every med has a label or initial or a nickname or something, because everything's got to be diagnosed, labeled, and sold. That's how you keep things contained. But no, I'm not a black comedian, bro. I'm a comedian that happen to be black.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't do black comedy. I do comedy. What the fuck is black comedy?
Yo, I love the fact that you go in there with it. Because that's everything I preach to on the pod. And I know we said 30, so I'm about to wrap it up. But that's everything I preach on the pod. Ownership.
Yes, sir.
The first rant I went on was after I kind of like, if after you do a publishing deal or whatever, and whatever the art was that you were a part of, you get your royalty check every 3 or 4 months, whatever, you get it. So I had a check come in from, I ain't gonna say the label, but it was like, I think it was like $135, right? So it immediately made me tick, because I'm just like, okay, I remember I slept in a studio in Queens, washed in the public bathroom within that studio complex to produce the record that got me to that point in my career.
Right.
And you gonna come repay me with $125, and you still maintain 20-30% of my royalty or publishing years later. And since then, I've got into real estate. I've got into investments, cryptocurrency. Like, we good now, right? Me and my family, we good. But after I got that check, I got on the pod that next day and went in. I was like, yo, artists, y'all need to own y'all stuff. This is the way y'all need to do it. Ever since then, I say, look, I'm going to teach y'all how to get good credit, because they don't teach credit in the arts community. I'm going to teach y'all how to get some assets. And I ain't talking about cars that depreciate. We're going to get some real estate. We're going to get some land. Y'all pull some money off of that equity. Get your loan, fund your art. I've been preaching the same thing over and over. So I had a rep from the label I'm talking about sent me a DM, was like, yo, yeah, you wildin', bro. Like, that I don't think you need to, you need to dial it back, bro. And I'm like, last time I checked, y'all don't know. You don't run this. Like, right. And I feel like the more people, the more comedians, the more artists, the more singers, producers learn the basics of finance and investing and getting it on your own, we ain't gonna have they can't give us a bad deal, because we control it. We control it at the end of the day. So
I mean, it's the reality is, the game is set up a certain way for a reason. You know what I mean? It's the American way. I get it. 110%. capital and capitalism. I get it.
Right.
But at some point, even the ignorant, has to see through something. You got to see the forest through the trees at some point. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And if we just keep going, and here's the thing, go back to that mindset that we're trapped in, right? What we're talking about is the betterment of the artists, right? From rooter to the tutor. Even if you want to open a small business, same, rhetoric.
Right.
But unfortunately, we're so conditioned, right, to be a worker bee. What we're talking about takes a little more incentive and hard work.
Yeah.
And a Negro would rather just clock in and get a check every 2 weeks and make somebody else a millionaire or billionaire than to put in a little hard work that can do that for himself. And that's unfortunate, but that's where we are hundreds of years of conditioning later.
Yeah.
But at least some of us get it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And all we need is the people who get it to do the best they can do and don't be selfish and pass that on. Pay it forward.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. Last but not least, how can people reach you? What you got going on that you want them to follow, buy, whatever? Like,
hey man, listen. My main thing is, if you haven't seen it's just comedy is my slogan and brand. Don't take it personal. It's just comedy. And my brand, talk about the pandemic and things that came up. My brand has went to the next level, my brother. So I need people to go on the gram, go on my Instagram, Facebook. Instagram is Talent the Comedian with a DA, Talent the Comedian. Mm-hmm. And just scroll and look at all the merchandise, from t-shirts to hoodies. I got about 10, 12, I'm up to 12 logos, different logos of It's Just Comedy. But it's a big brand, whether you drink coffee mugs, water bottles, flash, lighters. Man, I'm on everything. It's Just Comedy's on everything. Towels, hats, snapback hats. I got Scully hats. I got so much stuff in here with It's Just Comedy. Lighters, champagne glasses, masks, pins, you name it. I got it. It's Just Comedy. Don't take it personal. Check the brand out. That's what I want people to do. Hit that brand up and coming your way in the fall. At winter time, we should be pushing this documentary out.
Dope. Whatever you need from us, bro, even if it's scores or whatever, holla at me.
I'm gonna hold you to that.
Okay, and I'm gonna shoot you all my info on IG too in a hot second. So
salute, King.
Let's
Peace,
get
brother.
it, bro. Appreciate you.
All day.
Tell everybody that's dope. We gonna make sure we do our wrap up. Everybody that's gonna be on Sound and Wave, thank you for sending all of your information. We love what we're hearing. Y'all got some dope. It's shouts out to the artists from Sound and Wave. And I think that's it. I'm full. That was great. That was a great interview. So till next time, that's another beautiful episode of the Lucrative. What is it? Lucrative Lounge. Lucrative Lounge, y'all. All right, I'll holler at y'all next week. Peace. It's not just a network, man. It's a network, man.